Welcome to Silver Bar Stacker, folks. I hope everybody's doing well and enjoying their Sunday. That's right, folks. Today is Sunday, and we've got an exciting and interesting one for you today, folks. Now, I was thinking all week, what could I make my video about? What is going to be some sort of content that will be sort of purposeful and be useful to other individuals out in the community? And I try to take that approach with each of the weekly videos I do, and I restrict myself to weekly videos for that very reason, because I like to think about what I'm going to talk about and make sure that, I'm not going to be wasting anybody's time. So with that said, this week I was struggling to kind of find a topic, and so it was really just going to be sort of a boring video of me going over some new updates with regards to the store and whatnot. But I was having a few conversations with members in the community, and it got me thinking about an idea that I wanted to talk about that has sort of been covered on this channel before, but in sort of a different way. I'm talking about getting scammed on Instagram, right? Now, I was having lunch with one of our community members not long back, and we were sort of discussing the whole buying on Instagram thing, and neither of us are Instagram buyers at all. We don't buy anything on Instagram, and that's just not traditionally how we do things. And I think a lot of stackers are not traditionally buying on Instagram, and so that is kind of an unknown territory when it comes to most stackers, right? Now, I'm not going to say that there aren't people who successfully buy on Instagram. There are many people, I'm sure, who have trustworthy individuals that they communicate with who happen to be on Instagram or might be actively selling on Instagram, and you may have found some trustworthy dealers there. I personally do not supply any of our stuff from Instagram or from sellers on Instagram, or may do many dealings on Instagram other than with a select few people who I personally know, right? I know them by personal name, for example, okay? So I do dealings like that with P2P transactions, but with respect to kind of regularly going onto Instagram to go buy and sell, that's not something that I do, especially not buying. We've tried our hand at a couple, sales which didn't do so well, but by and large, when I go on Instagram, and this is what I was explaining to my friend, we were having lunch and we were discussing this topic. Instagram, is it a safe place to buy and sell, or is it not? My argument was that it is not a safe place. And the reason that I make that decision is because the one and only time that I've personally tried to buy, I was caught up in a little bit of FOMO. I'm not going to lie about that fact. But the one time that I did buy on Instagram, I got scammed for some big money. And FOMO definitely got the better of me because I did not vet the whole situation properly. And I was thinking, I'm running against the clock, I'm running against other potential buyers, and so I did a quick vetting, which was not at all a proper vetting. And so I would like to go over the mistakes that I made on the one time that I got scammed. And now every single time I feel like somebody shows me something on Instagram, hey SBS, check this out, hey SBS, check that out, hey SBS, check out this person who's selling stuff, I think I can tell you almost definitively within about 5 seconds of just simply looking at the profile whether or not that's a scammer account. And so it really hurts me to know that there's a lot of people who out there who aren't able to identify these sort of scam accounts because they are widespread. And so the conversation I was having with my buddy over lunch, we were talking about, I was making the argument that Instagram is not a safe place to buy. No way, not unless you know the person personally. And that's the argument I was making. The argument the other person was making was that, I don't know a single person who's had an issue with Instagram. Obviously, other than me, because they know me, but other than me, apparently they don't know a single person who has had any issues with Instagram. I find that personally hard to believe because I have seen over the past few weeks, I've seen multiple accounts that are clear scam accounts. I found accounts that are, taking images from other people, including myself. I actually got a message from one of our customers and one of our community members, and actually channel members, who actually messaged me letting me know that, hey, this account on Instagram is actually using your pictures, and they were actually trying to buy one of the products that we sell. And believe it or not, the person who is selling it, the scammer, used one of our photos. It said Silver Bar Stacker on the actual photo, and they used that to send to one of our customers and say, hey, yeah, we've got these in stock. Really? You got those in stock? No, you don't. That's a picture from Silver Bar Stacker, my friend. Obviously, you are trying to scam me. So the scammers out there, I'm not going to say that they're always smart, but they are prevalent, and you need to watch out for them, because if you don't look at some of the obvious red flags, you're gonna be in for a lot of disappointment and hurt. So I wanted to take a look at one of the accounts that was just kind of sent my way by a friend, by a community member. They had let me know, hey, check this stuff out. I think, maybe, this person and that person might be working together because, they got a lot of the same products. So, just go ahead and check it out and tell me what you think. So I was like, oh, yeah, I've not heard of that person. I'll check it out later. Then I go back to check it out later, and I could tell them instantly, and I'm so sad that they weren't able to immediately identify that this was a scam, but I didn't even have to almost open up any images to really determine that this was a scam account. And so I wanted to go over just an example of some of the indicators to look out for when you are dealing with scammers on Instagram or anywhere, really. And this is obviously not going to be hard and fast rules. Obviously sometimes these sort of situations may hold true, and it may be a perfectly legitimate account, and other times, none of these things will be checked off, yet it is still a scammer because they're hiding their tracks a little bit better. So I just wanted to make that clear, but these are some of the things that I kind of look out for when trying to vet an account outside of having an actual direct reference. If you have a reference that somebody has worked and bought and sold from this person directly multiple times without any issues, and they always get excellent service, right? So a lot of our customers, for example, are kind of referrals in that sense, right? Because somebody has a good experience with us, then they tell their friends, then their friends start to have good experiences with us, right? So we have, in that sense, sort of built a little bit of trust with our current customer base. And so every dealer will have that sense of trust and loyalty, or lack thereof. And so that's what it kind of comes down to. So let's go ahead and take a look at one of these examples. Here's an example of an account which I can almost definitively say is definitely a scammer. Okay, Liberty Precious Metal is the name of the account. And the reason I was very hurt by my friend not being able to tell that this was a scammer right away is because look at all the red flags. Okay, here I'm going to show you how to smell out the scammers. Okay, first and foremost, they're following you. Okay, many people might follow you. You might follow a lot of people other back. That doesn't necessarily in and of itself make somebody a scammer, obviously, right? But this is a tactic that is used. Following you is a tactic that is used in order to kind of gain your trust, gain your loyalty. Oh, they're following me? That's nice of them. Well, look how many other people that they're following. And if you find somebody like this, where they're following almost as many people, in some cases more people than are actually following them, well, the reason all these people are following them is because they're being followed by this person too. So they want to return the favor, follow for a follow, right? Or they may see that, oh, this person is followed by some of my friends, and so I'll give them a follow too. I'll show them my support since they're showing my support. Or some of these people that are following them might be from a tiny little Asian island or European island, or, they might be from, the 2,000 of these people might be from Antarctica, for example. Okay, so it should be a red flag sometimes. I mean, obviously, if somebody has a lot of followers, they might just truly be a trustworthy individual with a very loyal following, right? They also might just be a scammer who bought those followers, who got those followers in some sort of dishonest way. Okay, now if somebody has 2,000 plus followers, you would think that they might have some activity going on their account. That's not always the case. Sometimes that's the case, though. Usually if somebody has a lot of followers, loyal followers, they're running an active account, they're actively buying and selling all the time, and there's a lot of interest with that seller, and they have amazing prices, and there should be a reason why these things are flying out the door. You would see a lot of activity there, genuine activity, right, in the comment section. But if you see no comments, you see no people availing those deals, something might be fishy there, right? if you see some of your friends, and this is actually what got me, followed by one of your friends, one of your people that you trust in the community, if that person is now following this account, now you have some level of trust on the account that you're looking at, right? And so that's actually what ended up happening to me. That's how I ended up getting scammed. I didn't vet things quickly. I bought very quickly in the state of FOMO, and I ended up getting taken to the cleaners because I'm like, oh, look, my buddy and my other buddy are following this account, so it must be legit. No, it was not legit. Those individuals had no idea who this person was. They probably just were like, oh, they're following me, I'll give them a little bit of support. Oh, they have some cool things, I might give them a follow to keep an eye on them. So number one, when you find an account like this that's a clear scammer, don't follow it, because individuals that are following you are then going to be tipped off, and they're going to feel that, oh, it's trustworthy. They're not going to potentially vet things the way that they should. So do others a favor and try not to support scammers like this. Unfollow them the first chance that you get. Okay. Another thing that I thought was very interesting is that this person had actually put an address over here. Now, I'm not going to make that address public because I highly doubt that they would put their own public address there. So I don't know if this is one of their friends or foes' addresses. I don't know whose address it is, but I definitely checked out the address, and it's some tiny little 2-bedroom, 1-bath house, in the middle of nowhere. So is that the person's house or not? I'm not going to publicize that, that's for sure, because that's very likely not the person's actual address. They're putting that there to show you some trust, like, hey, yeah, things are shipping from here. Really? How can we verify that? Okay, so that's another thing to look out for. Another thing to look out for, and this is one of the biggest things, if you look on the bottom left here, you see, and this is the way that you pull this up is by simply clicking on their username. So if you go onto Instagram and you click, Liberty Precious Metals here in this example, you would be able to see, okay, they joined in May 2023. That's only 5 months ago, or 3 months ago for that matter. That's only 3 months ago, and they have changed their username 4 times in a span of 3 months. Okay, there's an obvious scam going on here. Nobody changes their name 4 times in a span of 3 months other than somebody who scams somebody successfully, then changes their username and does it again, and then changes their username again and does it again. So I bet you this person has probably just scammed 3 individuals and is looking for his 4th individual to scam, he or she. So these are some of the things that you should look out for when you are looking at a scam account, right? Or trying to determine if something's a scam account. But the best thing to do is simply not buy from untrustworthy, unvetted individuals. Buy from a trusted dealer, right? Buy from somebody who has a track record of being trustworthy for an extended period of time, and ideally get a reference from somebody who has bought from that person or that dealer in the past, and ideally somebody who's bought multiple times, and ideally somebody who has an excellent experience with that dealer time and time again. Those are the types of individuals that you need to be buying your precious metals from. You need to be able to buy from an individual who is buying from reputable sources, right? So that's just all I want to say. You need to be very careful when you're out there buying on Instagram. Be very, very careful. Now, that's really the topic that I wanted to discuss today. Another topic that I was actually going to discuss today was a very, very boring topic, but perhaps a topic that may interest some of our Canadian subscribers. That's right, folks. It has been a while since we've been exclusively delivering within the US. We have now, and this was at the request of one of our customers who was really itching to put in an order. And we've gotten a few requests from our Canadian customers to expand to accept Canadian shipping, and we finally tested it, and we sent out our first order to Canada last week, and I'm proud to say it's already en route there, and we have figured out the process now for offering international Canadian shipping. Now, that does come with a cost. Unfortunately, we're testing out the different options available to us, and so unfortunately we aren't going to be able to offer free shipping to Canada like we do to all of our US customers. No minimum free shipping for US customers, by the way. But for Canada, there will be a flat rate of $30 USD. No order limit, though. You can have as big of an order or as small of an order as you want. Obviously, you're not going to want to buy a single prospector round and have it shipped to Canada. I'm not saying we won't ship it to you. There is no order minimum. We can ship you a prospector round to Canada if that's what you really want, but do mind that there is a $30 flat rate shipping fee for all of our Canadian customers, and that's going to be automatically applied to your cart. So I'm very excited to be able to open up that the floodgates to the Canadian customer base, because as you can see, we have quite a few Canadian offerings. I'm huge into the Canadian vintage, and so over here you see a nice selection of Canadian bank bars of all varying sizes, and I'm excited to get a lot of these items up onto the website, and there's already quite a bit up there now. So any individuals in the US and Canada who would like to support, feel free to hop on the website and check out what we've got. Cheers!